we are disintegrated from our clans. I mean, we don't have a circle around anymore. We don't have people to hear us anymore. We don't have people to listen to us anymore. We don't even have people to share burdens with anymore. What do we want to be talking about? I mean, why will we be talking about those things? Men are being removed from clusters and association that should make them thrive as a man. So he came out and he said, learn to be a listener. Be a good listener. Who is that friend that you need to catch up with? Who is that friend you need to talk to? Brother, call them.
This is the Men's Stable Podcast.
Hello everyone, my name is Olumayoko Adeyemo and you're welcome to Men's Stable Podcast. In case this is the first time you're coming across this channel or seeing any of our videos, I want to say welcome. Welcome. So great to have you here. Men's Stable Podcast is a platform where we have conversations around character-based issues in the body of Christ, especially those ones that concerns Christian men and Christian brothers. It's a podcast that seeks to also inspire men to model their lives after God. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, it's a good time to hit the subscribe button now. Do it now. Also turn on the notification bell so you'll be the first to be notified whenever I drop a video. So let's dive into today's conversation. You know, this conversation is a product of my musing during my time away, and I find it really timely. You know, because it's at a time where personally, I would say I'm having a lot of rethink to many things. Having a lot of reassessing to many things. And it's a good time to bring this conversation on. Let's bring this conversation right to the table. Well, don't mind my topic today. It might seem a little bit provoking, but I want us to have conversations around it. Yeah, and my topic is men are disintegrating. Why will I say such? Why will I say men are disintegrating? What do I mean? What do I mean by that? Okay, hold on. I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that men are going into extinct. No. I'm not saying real men don't exist. That's not what I'm saying. You know, I'm rather saying that men are being removed from clusters and association that should make them thrive as a man. Daily, men are being decluttered from, the colony that should make them who they ought to be. And I have my reasons for saying this. I have my reasons for making such a bold statement that men are actually disintegrating. Why will I say men are disintegrating? If you look at our society today, we are largely shaped by social media. There is a lot of influence. You know, when you talk about things around whether it is sports, whether it is fashion, what have you, social media has it. In fact, when it comes to things like culture, social media is the loudest, right? And this got me thinking. There was a time when it comes to work, it was about you passing through school and coming out with good grades. So you had the advantage, but in our time, it's like the pendulum has shifted and it's more about skills, tech skills, content creation, AI, and all of those things. I find that it's quite easy to flow with the rhythm of all of these things and forget our makeup, forget who we are. Sometimes it's easy to lose it, in the search of all of these things. These things are good. They are what gives you leverage in our world today. So shouldn't we get them? Yes, we should get them, right? But while we get them, we should not forget the things that really matter. These things are legit. They are quite justifiable. You want to be a better version of yourself. If you're single, you want to be independent, as much as possible. If you're a young man who is married like myself, you want to be a provider. You want to provide for basic and essential things, for yourself and your family. So these things they are justifiable. And you're doing all of that in the midst of the seeming pressure in the society, right? Ego is there, shame is there, competition is there, and all of those things are there. And if you are not conscious about it, you will be pulling away gradually from companies, from associations that is supposed to build you. I'm not saying that a man cannot be independent, but you see, no matter how independent, we were supposed to function in a bunch. We're supposed to function in a circle. So take man away from that circle. He may be doing fine for himself in terms of business, getting deals and all of that. But when it comes to his wholeness as a man, he's lacking a great deal because he's out of the company that God has designed for him. It says right here, and I'm just going to read it out. Proverbs chapter 27 and verse 17. It says, "Iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friends." So what this means is, many times you will never know sharpening, and I repeat, many times, until you move closer to that brother, until you move closer to that friend. Now, while this conversation is about men, it is also applicable to the female gender, but I find this really rampant among we Christian men. It is easier for ladies to catch up, hang out, have conversations around many things in their life, but it's not easy for a man to start such conversation. I mean, there was a time I was having a conversation with my wife, and she was asking me some questions as to what kind of conversations I have with my male friends, and seeing the conversations she have on the other hand with her female friends, I'm like, what do we want to be talking about? I mean, why will we be talking about those things? The man is most of the times on the go, so to him, some conversations are not really necessary. I mean, he can't see himself even having some. How does he want to start the conversation, for God's sake? Right? But these are actually essential things we need to talk about, because if we don't take care of that aspect, we will all age, by God's grace, do good for ourselves, but we'll find that we are disintegrated from our clans. I mean, we don't have a circle around anymore. We don't have people to hear us anymore. We don't have people to listen to us anymore. We don't even have people to share our burdens with anymore. Because in the times when we are supposed to be building these relationships, we were busy chasing other things, which have their place, but we don't do them at the expense of those things that really matters. Having said that, are you currently in a position where it seems you are overwhelmed? You can have somebody to share your burden with you. It's just a conversation away. You did not get here by accident. If you got here, it means you have people around you. So it's just a conversation away. And on the flip side, you must also be able to pay good attention to your friends, because sometimes you find that the problem is that we are not listening. The problem is that we are not listening to ourselves. And this reminds me of a lesson I learned from my dad. May his sweet soul rest in peace. I was with him in a site one of these days, and I was much younger then, and I was calling out to him. Someone was trying to see him, and I was calling him. He was inside. I was calling him, daddy, daddy, daddy. And while he was inside, he was answering, but I just couldn't hear. He was saying, what do you want? He was answering me, but I just kept shouting, daddy. So he came out and he said, learn to be a listener. Be a good listener. And that word stuck with me. Although it was said when I was much younger, but it stuck out of many other things that was said that this particular one did not leave me. Learn to be a good listener. So no matter how much you want to say, also pay attention to listen. And oftentimes among Christian men, this is the problem. Is it that we don't open up or we don't listen when it is expected? I hope you learned something here, and I hope you are making a decision not only to keep in touch with your friend, but to build your relationship, to ensure that you remain in that circle where God has put you. You can't be in every circle, but there is a circle that God has put you in. In that circle, you will find fulfillment. In that circle, you will flourish. You will thrive the best. You will grow. You will become more relevant in what God has sent you to do. Because most of the time, what God is leading you in, there is another person, or maybe every other person in your circle is in the same season. This is why it is important that you don't forsake your circle, because they are the support structures that God has put around us. So feel free to let me know in the comment section how this has blessed you. Who is that friend that you need to catch up with? Who is that friend you need to talk to again? Who is that friend that it's been a while that they have been on your mind? Brother, call them. Reach out to them. Have a conversation again. Pray together. Share burdens. And if you like for you and I to kickstart a conversation soon, you can reach out to me on any of my social handles, and I'll be glad to speak with you. Thank you very much. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and see you on the next one.